Yo, yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 50 of Splinterlands 101. Welcome back again, as usual, co-hosts, finest gentleman who ever lived, Matt Clark.
Howdy, everyone.
Here's Matt Clark. He's one of the finest gentlemen that ever lived.
Geotrix, Poufet
Hey,
Poussey.
That's me, man. You know, I'm all about that.
We have to start, doing that regularly now, the Poufet Pousse, because that's your main account now, isn't it? Geotrix is just now your secondary. But you'll always be
it's
Geo.
true.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
You should swap all your cards around, like one day. So Geotrix is your main account again.
But then I'd have to make another account, the delicate account, because I delegate all the cards from Geo to the alts. So then I'd have to make another one where I'd have to send all the cards from Geotrix to another account to then,
Well, the sooner you do it, the sooner it's done.
No, but I sort of like this as the main.
Okay.
I had a similar thing. I went to check one of my airdrops. I think it was the one before Wrath the Summoner. And I checked airdrops, and I was thinking I usually get enough to max out the Summoner because I've got a lot of Chaos Legion packs. I got zero. I got zero. I was like, this is rubbish. That's not right. And then I realized I bought my Chaos Legion packs on my alt account because it's got the affiliate back to mine. So I'm getting that 5% kickback. Why wouldn't you? You're bulk buying packs with credits. And so, then I realized and I went and checked that account and I had 12 or something. So, okay. All right, cool. But there was a moment of outrage there because I was just on my own account. Forgot.
Yeah.
Yep. Lucky I'm handsome, hey?
Exactly. Get away with so much.
When you have nothing else going for you, looks is all you need.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a life hack.
Coasting on by.
So that brings up a question I've thought of before with the affiliates, like someone joins with the affiliate, you get a percentage of pack purchases and so forth. How does that work then with accounts that are created like with account creation tokens that you earn through Hive power and stuff like that, or if you just create an account by some other means?
It doesn't matter how the account's created, as long as they travel there on your affiliate link the very first time when they either log in for the first time or create the account for the first time. As long as they came in on your affiliate link, the URL, then you get assigned as their affiliate. The other option is you can talk to the tech support guys and say, hey, I joined up, but I want to allocate this guy as my affiliate because I didn't use his link, but now I'm thinking I should have, etc. And so they can actually manually assign it. It's not just a one-off deal. But
okay, that's a really good thing to know.
Yeah, yep. Well, I mean, it's been 18 months since I've seen it discussed, but that's how things were working before. So it's good. It only applies for credit purchases. So my big one is Aussie Ninja joined in under me. He's a bit of a champion. Have we had him? We've had him on the show.
We've had him on the show, absolutely. Yeah.
So every now and then he'll go and buy a couple 100 packs, and then I'll get that kickback there. But it's only if they're purchased with credits. They're purchased with dark energy crystals, then that doesn't count. But if they're purchased with credits, that's sort of outside money, whether it's fiat or other cryptos that are being used to buy the credits, then you get the 5% kickback. So I mean, it adds up, especially if you hit the streets and you go and recruit 100 people, and if only 10 of those are heavy buyers, then you're going to make 50% of a heavy buyer, right? Which is good. That's the way that works. That's the way the cookie crumbles, my friend.
That's how it
Welcome
works.
to Costco. I love you.
That's how we roll. Speaking of rolling out the map, we had a little bit of a chat pre-recording well, it's more speculation on the land and
Mhm.
stuff. So are you going to have to be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or something to start claiming your regions or tracks?
Well,
or-
I'm aiming for that hotly contested handsome man face region right in the middle. The sort of there it's a bit over there. There we go. There we are.
Yeah.
So we're the Roaring 20s are aiming for 36 through 41. That's sort of our ballpark area. There in the green, over on the left.
Of
And
course,
so
it'll all
we're
be
trying
done
for
by the
that.
time this comes out. So if you're listening now, you're too late to try and pinch Matt's land. Yeah.
Yes, or nobody wants anything in the white area, and none of them have been claimed, and they're just sitting there. Matt actually said the other day that the land claims will be open for a year. So it could be that this is how long it takes, because if everybody wants something in that red area over
They
there,
have to wait.
they're going to wait.
Oh, wow.
But if everybody wants that, then no one's going to claim beforehand, right? No one's going to go, oh, it's all right, I'll just burn a region now.
Yeah.
So yeah, who knows? Who knows? And if it does need kickstarting, I might end up saying, "Oh, okay, all right, I'll grab a white region since nobody else seems to want them, and then I'll grab another one with green." I can't grab a green one until the white's been taken. So who knows how we're going to go? But
Yeah.
we're all the Roaring 20s are all trying to grab in that green sort of extreme there, right on the coast. Michael B's keen for surf. He's eyeing that off as a nice surfing spot. So. We'll just have a little beach party down there in the forest and the lakes and the rivers and see how we go. But and I'm also looking to, I was saying before, I got a lot of plots, loose plots that I'm going to try and have little outposts in a lot of the different regions. Hopefully, at least one in each territory. With
Amidst the cries of
outposts.
a flesh golem took my baby.
I mean. If there's, if I've not, if where I am there's not much stone, but I've landed on some stone somewhere else, then I can say, well, I've only got 7 plots in this region, but I can buy another 2, 3, 4, and sort of expand where I need to expand. But I kind of feel like I want to have that foothold in quite a few different places just to see. And then if there is one unique thing on the map, then I probably don't have far to travel from wherever my nearest plot is, but there's so much we don't know about transport yet. There'll be people who are
and the no man's
when
land in
everything's
between
revealed.
the regions.
That's the
What's
thing,
gonna
yeah.
happen
And
there?
for some reason, I always envisaged it being, because I remember thinking like a chessboard. I remember thinking I'd love to have a big clump here and a big clump here, and then get a path between them, right? And then it'd be blocking people and all that, but it wouldn't be blocking anyone because these regions are little tiny plots of, little sections of land in an otherwise massive continent. You can just completely avoid them like as if they're cities. So yeah,
It could be like Jones in the Fast Lane. There could be like wild willies roaming around in no man's land.
yeah.
Well, you know what? We all know Matt will have excess wood.
So it's a common complaint.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Yes. So where would the dragon land be? What?
It's right up through the middle. It's right up through the middle. I don't know if you can. Yeah, there we go. Oh, the handsome man face region's gone now. So that's. Yeah,
That's what
I
I
almost
want.
see it as a butterfly.
one
I don't know if you guys. No. So that's that territory. That dragon territory has 20, I think, regions in there.
Oh.
So, yeah, I don't know if you can zoom in, but so
Well,
that's
I can bring the map up.
That's the dragon area. Yeah, that'll work too. That's the dragon area. The whole thing looks like a butterfly to me. I don't know if that's the same for anybody else, but it kind of looks.
That's what's called the butterfly effect.
Yeah, that might be
the cognitive butterfly effect.
Yeah. Flaps its
Upon
wings.
closer inspection, you can see it looks like a butterfly.
You need to do that with the David Attenborough accent.
Yeah.
We are all in a silly mood tonight. I think maybe 49 episodes is our limit of serious episodes. And we've just hit that, and now we're like, oh, well, I did my
Over
time.
here, the flesh golems are in their natural habitat.
There we are. So yeah, Central Fire, I think, is the dragon area, which is funny because it's not the fire splinter. Great Lowlands would be the fire, but they've specified that there's not any. It's really for lore purposes that we're seeing these different territories coloured in. It's just for lore. But yeah, the Broken Lands on the left there. I don't know if you can zoom in, Bob, but that's where the 20s are sort of aiming for. Is that it's sort of like a zigzag pattern. Because a lot of these, you look at it, the numbers are sequential. But if you claim them in sequence, you get a big long row of regions, almost like a sort of a great wall. Whereas over there, yeah, that 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, you claim all those and you get a big area, like a big clumpy area. So hopefully nobody else has had that idea. And if they have, they might tap me on the shoulder beforehand and say, well, Matt, we want that area too. Let's talk about it. Because the last thing you want is alternating. I get this, and then a complete stranger gets the one next to me, and then I get the next one, and then like that's no fun. When you want to be close to your mates, and we're more concerned that we're together than that we're there, right? So that's why I figured I'd just put it out there. I can't see anybody burning a region just to ruin our fun. Not burning it, but claiming a region just to ruin our fun, just so he can be surrounded by enemies. Like that's something of an own goal, I think. If we publicize it, say don't get any of these. We want these. Just leave them alone. The rest of the map's yours. These are the ones we're claiming. Please leave them alone. And then some snoozer goes, "Oh, this will be funny. I'm going to claim 38." Then he's surrounded by angry roaring 20s. Like, you remember what you thought would be funny? Not so funny now, is it? Now that you can't get any food or supplies, or So nobody's
and land 4.5 here, and now we can raid your ass.
Exactly. Yeah, ICBM silos. Yeah, land version 12. He's long gone because he couldn't trade with anyone. He's got no trading partners. He's got nothing. Yeah.
What about that big mountain at 24? Is that going to be like someone specifically in the Roaring 20s want to grab that? And welcome, Jagged. Welcome to the show.
Hey, I feel like I've gotten on the end of a joke.
Flip yourself around onto landscape.
Multiple.
Yeah, there we go.
We're just looking at the map, trying to work out what we're going to do. Did you have any land, Mike? Did you have any land, Jagged?
No. Well, I was thinking because on the last stream you were talking about the Roaring 20s are getting.
Yep.
Can anyone else join that, or is it just guild members only?
No, well, I mean, we're more than happy to have anybody around that area. The problem that we have is that if you can claim a region, you can claim around the same time, right? Because of the way that the land allocation fills up. But we might find, say, for example, here, say 33 is filling up with plots, right? Plot claims. And then somebody claims a region, well, that's going to get claimed at 34, right? 33 is still filling up. Then 35 and 36 get claimed as regions, right, by people with region tokens. 37, 38 get claimed. Now, if you've got to redeem a plot, you can't redeem a plot in 39, right? Any plot that you redeem at that time is going to go into 33, the last one that's still filling up with plots, right? And now you're still a long way away from the guild. So the problem that we have is that you need to claim land of the same size to be together. So if you and 5 mates each have a tract, then you can all claim your tracts at the same time and be in the same region.
So you have to sell your ute and buy a region, Jagged?
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, I haven't got any plots yet. But but I wouldn't mind if you're pooling other people's assets. That'd be good.
Yeah, like that. You speak to someone in Scientology, like you can't afford the next course, no problem. Just sell your house. It's easy. Yeah.
Prove your devotion. Yeah.
There's a few schools of thought. I think there might be a few people selling. So what's going to happen is when this claiming goes live, tract and regions will then turn into individual deeds, right? So the Roaring 20s have another 30 plots in Dave McCoy's pool. So I think that's Team Possible. Anyway, it's Dave McCoy. And so we'll have 30
who
plots
Team
there,
Possible is. Man, I'm sick of coming across that and whipping my butt. I see Team Possible now, and I know, not them again. Is that
They
who
designed
that
the
is?
new water summoner, the legendary water summoner, the big blue dragon, who I've been having a lot of fun with.
Right.
So what will happen is all these people who've had, say, a region and they bought it 2 years ago, and maybe their car broke down and they've been looking to cash out. They haven't been able to sell an entire region. They might go, okay, now I've claimed my region, but I've got bills to pay. I'm going to sell 100 plots. So some people are thinking that the value of the plots is going to drop quite a lot, and that there'll be bargains to be had. The other, I guess, potential opportunity to buy is after the land is surveyed, and people want the really cool land, the more common plots that just have stone and wood and nothing glamorous like Sparkstone or Super Magical Pixie, whatever, then they might dump their more common plots at a discount. So they're sort of, I guess, the two potential buying opportunities that people are talking about. Right now, I haven't checked what plots are at right now, but somebody said they're up to the 177, but that might have come down again since then. Just pulling it up now. Where are we at? 176 at the moment is the price of a plot on tribal decks.
Okay, but is that has all land been sold? Like, is there any regions that are going to be like plot Mark 2 sale, or what, tranche 2 or tranche 3, or is that everything, all land's been put onto the market?
No, it's a good question. So a couple of years ago, when they sold land, they sold the entire island or continent of Pretoria, and that was first hand. They were all sold in the first 3 rounds. I think the third round took a while to sell. It took like 6 weeks or 7 weeks or something to finally sell through. So at the time, they really nailed it as far as demand goes. So if we're talking about buying land now, the only option to buy land is from somebody who's already bought it from Splinterlands, the group. From the developers. They've left the door open, and I noticed that on even the designators for the deeds, they start with PR, and then the name of the region, and then the name of the tract, and then the plot within that tract, to say this particular NFT is in Pretoria, which suggests that they're very much leaving the door open to selling land on additional continents down the track. But that would be down the track, as in several years. And only if it makes sense, and those land plots wouldn't have the same benefits and magical. It would be a different thing. But they've left the door sort of slightly ajar. But they're very much keen on saying, look, if you buy land, we're not going to then just go and inflate it, through the roof. If you buy this land from us, this is going to be one of our top priorities, is to jack up the value of that land, the scarcity, the rarity. But if we end up with a game's got 10 million players, and only 0.1% of them could have a single plot of land, then they might say, okay, we're going to open up land sales now. This will still be like the capital, I guess, but then they'll no doubt open that up just to grow, I suppose. But then you'd be looking at plots of land being worth 50 or 60 grand each, as is. So I don't think anyone would really complain about the game growing from there. So wait and see.
It's a fine line to keep the economy working properly.
Yeah, and as a landholder, you've got to kind of trust that they're going to do what's right, not just what's right for me, but what's right for the game, even if that might cost me. Where I think, oh well, on one hand, I thought I had this locked down for 10 years and nobody else would be able to buy land except in that original sale. At some point, you've just got to knuckle under and go, you know what, this is better for the game.
So
that looks like Australia.
It does a little bit, yeah.
with Tasmania on the
sort of
opposite
drifted
side.
across to the west. But what's the deal here? There's no regions on there. What do you think that could have some significance?
Well, everything that doesn't have a region on it is essentially open wild land that the game can do whatever they like with. So if you can imagine it, they'll have a use for it. So and they'll add it to Pretoria at some point. I would suggest that things like that, whenever they come up with something, they'll say, "Oh, we're going to have a roaming circus." They'll say, "Okay, we're going to do it through this, through this loop." Or if we're going to have a penal colony, they might say, "Well, let's make Australia over there the penal colony to lock up all our criminals and vagrants and the like, undesirables." So that whenever they come up with something, they'll look at the map and go, "Where should we position this?" outcropping peninsulas like that, and there's whole islands down below them, and then up on the pristine northwest, there's sort of almost a
hammerhead.
It does look like a hammerhead, doesn't it? There's even a peninsula over there, the Broken Lands, that sort of where I'm hoping to be, sort of a jutting out almost like a big long jetty. So look, I think it's a great looking piece of land. I think it's well designed. It looks fantastic, and there's been some zoomed in views of the different regions and the showing what kind of, because this isn't the be all and end all. We'll essentially be able to zoom in and then zoom in and then zoom in and zoom in to the individual plot where you're looking at the windmill and there's been some art shared. I don't know if you can pull it from the art spam. I think it's art spam in Discord. Anyway, we'll get it soon. So yeah, it'll be
maps.
Sorry,
it's like Splinterlands maps. It's
yeah,
like Google Maps.
Google Maps, yeah.
Yeah, and we're able to zoom right in and see stuff. So it's an exciting time to be in the game. Sure.
We might even get onto Two Girl. Remember she did the Steam at World map where people could actually make posts and pin it to the map.
Yeah.
Like
Yep,
something like
that.
this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Pin Mapple. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That was the one.
Yeah. This reminds me too of the old maps before the colonial empires took control type thing. You got the big magnetic rock at the North Pole
center,
and then surrounded by the in the original case 4 islands, but it's broken down to a little bit more right around the back. And then of course you got Greenland just down the bottom there type thing. Yeah.
I like it.
So you got any thoughts where you got 1 plot or 2 plots, Gio?
I have 1, and I'm gonna claim, if possible, in the Dragonland Central Fire.
Yeah, I thought you might. You love your dragons. Yeah.
Oh, now, yeah, lately, it used to be death, but I don't know, just dragons all the way.
Yeah. So you have to time it then, sort of with the plots as they come out of water into dragon.
Well, the easy part is I do have 1 plot, so I only got to claim once in that region, So I'm sure I'll have some opportunity to do so.
Yeah. But you'll have to wait a bit then till all the water's filled before you're going to before you can claim a plot in the Dragonlands.
Oh, so they're doing each splinter in order, is it? Is there an order to the?
It's coming down like this.
Yeah, it's not quite. So it's if you zoom in, you can see the numbers. Dragon will actually go before water. It goes white, green, neutral, then dragon, then up to water.
Oh, so 01, yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because when we first looked, the map behind me was flipped.
Yeah.
So I'm on the wrong side of the map now. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So why isn't it random? Why are they going in an order?
Well, yeah, that is a good question. I guess because they wanted people who wanted to be next to each other to be able to be next to each other.
To plan it, time it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So it's up to us to spoil their plans then. Just be that little plot in between them. Yeah.
Yep. And that's, people who want to claim 2 or even 3 regions together. If it was random, then their regions wouldn't be together. So, but yeah, I was saying before, a lot of these are sequential. If you look at that green along the bottom row of the green there, it's like my eyes are getting a bit old, but it's like 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. And if as a guild you're going to claim all of those, you end up with a big long strip instead of a clump. So, but again, maybe when we know more about the game, we'll wish that we did have a big long strip. It's just there's so many unknowns at the moment.
Yeah, that's it. So, there's so many mechanics involved because you're going from a macro then to a micro level. It's hard to get your brain around. Like you've been contemplating what will your role be in the game. That's how big it's going to get. Yeah. Yep,
absolutely. Yabba was saying today that the economies of scale will mean that you'd probably be better off with your if you have multiple plots, better off having them together. But he also said that would cap out around the region mark where you probably, and again, he's just speculating too. He's not quite sure how all this is going to shake out when they look at all the details. He's suggested that if you get big enough up around the region area, then that will be enough of the economy of scale. You won't be able to extra capitalize on having 10 regions getting 20, but 20 times 20 regions worth of benefit. It will just be that you can capitalize on that with just that 1,000 plots. So if you have regions, he basically said you can feel free to claim them all around the place because they won't suffer from being apart from each other. So who knows? I want to claim both of mine fairly close together though.
What's the quantity we're looking at? How many plots of land are there?
So each of those numbers represents 1,000 plots. So they're each one region, which is 1,000 plots, broken up into 10 tracts. So yeah, and each of those numbers will have a castle, and around that castle will be 9 keeps. In the 9 tracts that don't have the castle, there'll be a keep in each. So we're looking at
the functionality. They were saying it would be the actual what that place will be is not 100% determined either. What happens at the castle?
They're sort of thinking that'll be a shared marketplace type area. So the castle owner will get maybe a cut of whatever transactions go on through his castle, and keeps might be a lesser, maybe a non-magical version of that or something along those lines, where you wood and stone go through keeps, but if you want to sell magic stuff, that goes through whichever is your local castle. So it does seem like having a castle will be a very big deal, because you can essentially take a cut of whatever's going on in the entire region. So that would be huge.
Very lucrative, yeah.
Yeah, I was saying to Bob before, because a few guys have said once we've claimed those regions, once Roaring Twenties have claimed those regions down in that corner, there's a few guys who are like, I like the Roaring Twenties, or I'm a small player in the Roaring Twenties. Can I swap in? But if we go and swap, I guarantee if I went and started swapping my plots within my region, I would swap out the one that has a castle in it, and then I'd end up with some plot over here, and then I've got the entire region except for the one plot that has the castle in it because I've swapped it out. You can't know until they're surveyed. So theoretically, though, what I could end up doing is swapping with somebody else, and the plot that I've swapped into is the only one in that region with a castle, and then I end up with two castles for my 1,000 plots. But it's random. It's chance. The only way it's not chance is if you own the entire region.
Yeah.
So, Persibolus, anyone having fun with him? Anyone got him?
Haven't used him. I haven't got him.
Which one? Who's that?
The new water dragon summoner. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, water summoner, yeah. So I
got four in an airdrop on one account, and then the other accounts have got nothing. Yeah.
My airdrop count score is still 0.
Yeah, I heard that in the.
Sorry, Bob. Yeah, so Persibolus is great. He gives +2 health to everyone on your team. He gives all melee reach and trample. He's very, very good for melee water cards. Non-melee water cards, he still gives that +2 to health, which can make a big difference. I've been experimenting a bit with Sea Monster in second position, because he's a little bit squishy, but he does have high health and he does have self-heal, and he hits quite solidly. So what I've been enjoying is having him in second position, where he's only taking a bit of blast damage, but he's reaching and hitting hard, and then often trampling as well. And because he's got +2 to his health, that you can get him up to, like at max level, you can get him up to 14. That's 14 health because he's 12 at max level. So that's 14 health. If you get one more strengthen on your team, then I think Mermaid Healer, there's a few different options. You get one more strengthen, now he has 15 health and he's self-healing for 5 every round. And that becomes brutal with, say, Bakjira in front of him or something like that. Very hard to punch through that level of self-heal. Yeah. And so he's not really taking much damage, even if he's getting blasted, he's still not taking too much damage, but he's reaching from that second position and punching hard. When he does kill someone, he punches hard again. So we've had some real, I gave my wife, she plays in silver. I gave my wife a Persibolus, and she she hadn't even noticed the Stampede rule set because there aren't many cards with trample in silver. They're just not. They're few and far between. So
I thought she'd rather have the sea monster.
Well, she's got a sea monster, but she played. I can't remember what card it was, but she showed me because she was blown away. It was a Stampede, and she'd never seen the Stampede actually go off before, and it just wrecked like every card all the way along. She's like, "Is it broken? Do I need to talk to the tech support about what's?" I mean, stoked because she won.
I was more going along the lines of bedroom talk, but we'll stick to Splinterlands.
The sea monster.
when I see monster.
Matt's the sea monster.
And don't you think that would be a silent P, like psilocybin?
Yes, like pterodactyl.
Yes. So I prefer psilocybin.
Because I'm on Splex, as soon as I get the card, it rents it out straight away. So I haven't had a chance to use it. It just I upgraded it to level 2, and then it just got rented.
Yeah. Splex, they have like this. It's a bit overwhelming, to be honest, but they have so much micro control over your deck and what you can do with things. You can individually turn off a card. So yeah, it's like, because I spoke to Chlorinator once. This is like, it's so involved, you should make a tutorial video. And he was saying, we've got so many changes coming up that by the time I publish, it would be out of date by the time it was published. So, but yeah, Splex got a bit overwhelming for me. It's like every time something new, and when they changed the whole main user interface, I was just like lost. I had to like learn the whole thing all over again, because I'm using Splinter Suite now as well, for going for the simplicity. You saw the episode with Hack and Huck for Splinter Suite?
Yeah, I saw all that. Yeah. No, it was really good. And I think he's the percentage rate is a lot lower than Splex.
Yeah, 2.5 versus 10. Yeah.
No, I watched that. That was a good episode. Yeah. And is the British guy?
No, he's from.
No. No, which one? Then you have the British guy after. Was it the one after?
That's Xbot. Yeah, from rugby in
Sylar,
England. Sylar. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Hack and Huck's from the States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, very good. Yeah, but because my card power is at gold 1, and the bot gets me pretty much the gold 1 by the end of the season, I'm not too fussed about adding new cards. So what I've been doing, I've been building up the DEC until I get 5K, and then I buy a nightmare pack, and then that helps generate more SPS. Because I always like Matt's idea about building up the SPS.
What's a nightmare pack?
The tower defense game.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten into that. Just not enough to diversify. Yeah, I've got a new system running since last season. Because I'm running 3 accounts at the moment. I've got my main account, obviously Boba Fett, and then anything I've got spares that are leveled up, but not enough to level a card on Boba Fett. It's in my alt Tartaria, which is sort of a silver level. It's got CP for gold, but because of the summoners, it can only really play at silver. And so as I level those cards up, once they're high enough to level my Boba Fett, I switch it back to Boba Fett. And when then all the spares that are left over after that, they're on my reality variance account just renting out. And so at the end of each season now, I have to stop the rental bot, cancel all my rentals on Peak Monsters, so everything's finished. Because every time I get cards from a chest, or if I get a Chaos Legion pack in a chest and I open that up, I'm just throwing them all at my rental account. But then end of each season, look, I look at all three and go, okay, all the cards that I've gotten in chests, the reward cards, any chaos packs, or if I bought a Rift Watches, what can I level up? Do all my leveling up, switching from accounts.
Yeah.
And last season, I actually managed to level a few cards on Boba Fett. So my secondary account actually ended up smaller. But this season, I think everything I've got on my rental account, I'll be able to level up a couple in my secondary playing account. All right, it's good of Jagged to pop on. It is a few minutes there. This is Christmas gathering. One of our previous guests, of course, on the show.
Local and fellow Aussie from Melbourne.
Fellow Danistani as well. Danistani, or here in Republic of Danistan.
Oh, now I know why no one on the Praetorian map of Australia is there. Because they all wanted to leave.
Of course, yes, of course, they all wanted to bail the tyranny. Yeah, bail the tyranny. So we made it to 50. Did anyone see that coming?
No, I remember you saying, "Hey Matt, let's do like an introductory series on Zoom," and I said, "Yeah, that's cool." And then I forgot to specify any sort of an end date or timing or even a year that we would stop.
We were just going to do the splinters, weren't we? Yeah. So look,
and then it became interviewing people, and then it just became talking whether we had anyone to interview or not.
So we got introduction with Matt Clark there. What is Splinterlands? How to get started. Then we went through the cards: Earth, Death, Life, Fire, Water, Dragon, Neutral, and then that's I guess where you thought we would have been done. Yeah. After the neutral, but we kept going. We started doing our battle analysis, which has become a regular part of the show. And then we started having guests. We had Bear One, fellow Aussie.
Evolved. Yep.
Yeah.
And then I came in out of nowhere.
Yeah, when did you come in?
Well, the picture's there on the bottom.
Yeah, I'm just looking.
He came in like a wrecking ball.
At Water. No. That's right. Matt was away for a week. I know you were on before that.
That's it. Hollister, then Love.
Yeah, Hollister came on. He was the first one. Matt, you were away. Hollister came on and he did Death because he's all about death. Nothing emo about that. That's his Splinter. And then on comes Gio for life. Gio comes in for life. It's rather appropriate, isn't it? Yeah. And who was our next guest after we had Bear One? And Aussie Ninja. He was one of the early ones. You asked about him earlier. Yep. So he was our actual third guest on the show. Holozord, Bear One, Aussie Ninja. Exile, another Roaring 20. Is Aussie Ninja Roaring 20s?
No.
No?
No. He's certainly a friend. He's been around for a very long time, but he's not Roaring 20s. I don't think he was really a heavy investor early on in the game when we were sort of pulling together who was going to be in the 20s. And so I don't think I don't think he had the 100K that we were asking to buy a seat.
Right.
Yeah.
And Exile, of course, he would have had the 100K.
Yeah, well, he's going to be the first boss monster in the game. He's
still waiting for that.
$2.5 grand for that back 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So he's a patient Dutch gentleman.
Yes. Isn't that an oxymoron? Patient and Dutch. Can you use that in the same sentence? So like he certainly broke the mold. He is both. Yeah.
Yeah. My old man, he used to say, "Why did the Dutch wear clogs? Because they deserve to."
And then we had Sinistry. Who can forget Sinistry? Still,
Oh,
and
yeah.
now Gio and I were part of the Shield of Glory. So
yeah.
the Kingdom of Glory as it
The
is now, of
kingdom.
course. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we've had a few. Mr. Rogers has had a couple of turns.
Yep. Yeah, there he is there. So next we had Dave 22. He's roaring 20s, isn't he? Or is he just a fellow
Yes.
Adelonian?
No, he's not Adelaide, but he's roaring 20s. Yeah.
And Mr. Rogers, been on a few times. Yeah. We lost the Geo. Okay. Mr. Rogers again. Yeah. And then Cryptomancer. Episode 22.
Yep, that was good.
Yeah.
It was good having him. Yeah. That was very handy having him on. So.
And that was
Yep.
before the wild and modern release. So we got a little bit of insight into the game there with Cryptomancer.
Into how that'll look and league progression and the like.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's funny, once these things are behind us, then you very quickly adjust and you forget how it used to be before all these things were in there. I remember when gold foil cards came out, and there were guys saying, "Oh, these are going to ruin the game." When gold foils came out, it was funny because what had happened was there were people who were buying packs and then just stripping them, just opening them, and then selling the legendaries at a big markup, and then just dumping the commons. And obviously, I was a beneficiary of that. But when the devs did the airdrops of gold cards, they did it as if those cards had been in the packs in the first place. And so all of these guys who really just arrived to dump money in, open the packs, sell them for as much as they could, and then leave again, out of the blue, they've got all these gold foil cards. And all their customers who'd actually been wanting to hodl and play the game were missed out entirely because they hadn't actually bought the packs. So that was an interesting lesson in being the guy who originally buys the pack, so that you make sure you get any future airdrops. But yeah, that was funny because guys are like, "Oh, you held this card for 10 minutes before I bought it, and I reimbursed you and then some when I bought it off you, and now you get the gold foil version, and I've got to buy that off you as well if I want it." So, but that's how we learn.
Yes, indeed. And then we had G Vassal on from Greece, introducing
Fantastic.
us to the law. Like, just
And
opened my eyes completely to a subject I just hadn't even considered before.
I see him in Discord all the time, and he's just this encyclopedia, and then he'll ask these really insightful questions, and you're like, man, you're just so across it. It's great. I'm glad he's on our side.
Yes, absolutely. And for those who saw that show, he gave us a couple of insights into how law might apply to the land, and looking like he was spot on. So after the land release and a few things, we're going to have to get George back on the show again. I think, sort of just so he can vindicate himself that he called it, he was right.
Yeah, do a victory lap.
Do a victory lap and find out what new insights he's got for us as well.
Yeah, but there were talk in lore of obelisks, and I note that they're not on the continent map as yet, and I wonder if perhaps they've been removed so as to avoid anybody specifically trying to get close to those obelisks when it comes to region claims.
Yes.
So I'm wondering whether maybe when
they will be random,
whether they'll be either randomly put back on there, or whether whether there are locations known but not on that map. And look, they might be small that you wouldn't notice them. Perhaps they're not as big as a mountain that would be on there, so not necessarily hiding it to not put it on the map yet. But I've had a good look at the map, and there's no indication of where those obelisks might be that I can see. So and it might be a bad thing to be. They might be radioactive. Maybe you don't want to be. Maybe you don't want to be anywhere near an obelisk. I don't know, but so that's. I know that was a big part of the lore, is ley lines and magical energies running through it and the like. So it's great fun to see it coming together. I'm really looking forward to claiming and actually having a spot on my map to call my own and say this is my area. Surveying them should be not too far off. Actually, in the town hall, it was mentioned that actually resource gathering, manufacturing and selling and renting of items and spells is still around a year away, which is kind of to be expected. But I don't know, part of me thought maybe we were 6 months out from that, but it might be with the layoffs and the like, that might have limited their capacity to really grow as fast as they wanted to.
Yeah.
I don't really know, but I'd take 12 months from here. That'd be fine. And because I have various different revenue streams coming in from rentals and the like, I can effectively say, well, look, if it's going to be another year, I'm going to save up over that time and buy more plots, so that when it does finally roll out, I can hit the ground even harder than what I otherwise would have. So,
Yeah.
and if guys want to dump because they're impatient, then that's fine. Who was it said the market's a mechanism for moving assets from the impatient to the patient? He also said when the tide goes out, you can see who's swimming without bathers. Warren Buffett, I think.
Warren Buffett.
Is.
And who knows? Maybe the obelisks will only reveal once people have actually once the land's claimed and they're on the map. Then that's when the obelisks will be revealed, or maybe the obelisks could be in no man's land.
Yes, or they might get dug up. Maybe there's a chance with every plot that you're the one who digs up one of the 8 obelisks.
Yes.
That would be pretty major. Digging, harvesting, quarrying stone, and then hang on, what's this? What are these inscriptions? And you're actually the owner of the plot where the obelisk was found. That would be
like the monkeys
really
finding
cool.
the black monolith.
Yeah.
It's like striking gold.
Yes.
Yep.
And then we had Lum on the show, the master strategist who came on and whipped our asses and taught us a thing or two about strategy. Yeah.
Yep. He's got the newsletter. Yeah.
Yes.
All the debuffs. So good with the debuffs.
Massive debuffs. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then we had Sepp, Drop Bear Mining. He's had a couple of name changes since then. He's been on a couple of times.
He was always fun.
Yes. And Dicko, he was an Adelaidean because he actually met Matt in person at the Adelaide meetup. Yeah. When's the Adelaide meetup, Matt? Last Thursday, first Thursday of the month?
Last Thursday of every month from 6 p.m. at the Duke of Brunswick on Gilbert Street in the CBD. So we're not doing it December. We don't do it December's, but back again on January. So if you're in Adelaide, visiting, coming through, passing through, what have you, we'd love to see you there at the Duke. It's great.
Righty. And Bimo, our Filipino hustler, who he was the reason I opened a couple of alts to get into the whole rental battle market, and then shortly after they changed the rentals to 2 days, which might have sort of killed off half the Filipinos. We'll have to find out what happened with that. And Blue Hat, that's Blue Hat, yes, CTR PCH.
He's in our guild.
Yes.
He's Adelaide.
Yes. And the Bronze Master, the Master of Bronze.
Yep. If you come to a meetup, there's always a chance that you'll run into CTR PCH, Blue Hat.
Yeah.
It is so strange that there's so many Aussies, right? Like in this game, and there's not much of us. But yet, here we are.
There's only 25 million of us in the whole world.
So cool.
Yeah, well, there's a few that I can personally lay claim to. Holozor I put onto Steam back in the day.
Yeah.
And Wacko Jacko is a friend of a friend, so he came on board through a friend recommendation. He was looking to offload some Theta, I think it was, trying to get out of that and diversify a little bit. And talking to a friend who mentioned me and came to me for advice. So he's obviously pretty happy to have got in on a region nice and early. So yeah, I can definitely claim there's quite a few out there that have I've brought in, but there are a lot that I've yet to even find, I'm sure.
Yeah.
even identify as being Aussies.
Well, you should maybe reach out and get Wacko Jacko on the show.
Yeah, I've mentioned a couple of times. I think we've got some scheduling difficulties, and I don't know if his camera's shy. He shouldn't be. He's a handsome chap. So good looking. Yeah, girls making eyes at him when they're walking past at the meetup.
Well, he'd fit right in here then.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
Spot on.
exactly. Yeah.
Who's that really good looking dude you were talking? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Like, yeah, it could be any of them, really.
Yeah. The
Should we move
SL
on?
eye candy.
Should we talk about some soulbound cards or
Soulbound cards. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, let's just quickly scroll through and acknowledge our previous guests.
Yes.
Then we had Mick
I don't
Veer,
wanna leave it
another
alone.
Aussie on the show,
No,
leader
man.
of the Earn Guild. And Gio, you play your alt with Earn.
I do. I have 2 ults in Earn, actually. They're a really chill guild, man.
Yeah,
Like, I really enjoy my time there.
nice. And Mick's been around. He's OG as well. He's old school on the blockchain. Yeah. And we had Anubis85, the Crypto Panda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this is taking me back.
And then Jagged, who popped on earlier tonight. We first had him on for episode 32.
August.
And KOMC, Drop
Set.
Bear Mining again.
Mhm.
Jagged again. Mr. Rogers and KOMC. That would have been a wacky episode. And
That was a great
Almighty
one.
Melon. Almighty Melon and
Yeah.
KOMC. Almighty Melon, he's the dev for
Archmage. I think.
Archmage.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
forgot what he said he exactly was, but he is something like that. Yeah. I
Mhm.
forget the exact term.
And he's across the
I
pond
think-
in New Zealand.
Yes.
Yes. And then KOMC again. Mr. Rogers
Rogers.
again. It's always fun to have
Always
Mr.
good.
Rogers on the show.
He's a cool dude. He's our leader as well
Yes.
in Aegis.
And then we had George back on for
Ah.
more lore. We are just saying while you're away, Gio, once the land's out and a lot of more stuff's on, we need to get George back on because he was so spot
We'll
on
have to.
about how lore would fit into the map long
He
before
has
any of
one
this
of-
stuff came out.
He has one of the greatest minds, I reckon, in this space, dude. For
Yeah.
real.
Absolutely. He's just like Matt said earlier, walking encyclopedia of the lore.
Absolutely.
And the People's Guild,
Oh, I wasn't around for that
Jangle,
one.
Jangles, and Wascally Wabbit. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
great, man. You definitely missed out by not being on that night, man. They were
Oh,
an amazing duo. Yeah, the
Yeah.
People's
Oh,
Guild.
And then I went on their podcast.
You're on the
and that
latest
was-
one, their latest episode.
That was 3 hours, and it was the it was the evening before the last meetup, and so it was just 3 hours of talking Splinterlands, and I've finished, and all right, okay, and now it's time to go to the meetup and talk about Splinterlands for another 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, it's fine. I can get there. I can do it. Push on through. It was good fun. They're great chaps.
Absolutely, two legends.
have to get them on again.
Yeah, definitely. And Hack and Huck, the dev
For
for
Splinter Suite.
a Splinter Suite, yes, which I'm now
And he's
an
also got
avid user of.
and he's got some upcoming things that I won't talk about, but he's still thinking about them, and yeah, it's some cool stuff.
All
It
right.
has it's in the nature of open source, so that might excite some.
All right. Well, when he's ready to talk, reach out to him, Gio, and we'll get him back on.
I talk to him on like every third day or something. Like he's just always got something to just share with me. I'm like, man, I didn't even know this. It's just always
Yeah.
enlightening, always
He's still-
enlightenment.
Still pops in and says hello on the 101 server. Yeah.
Yeah, real friendly.
And then another guest that you brought on, Gio, Sylar, the dev for
that's-
Xbot.
Man, I don't have enough words. He's just a brain. Real talented.
And of course, since we've had him on, he's also now come out with Xbot Lite for people who are just playing
Yeah.
at silver or gold. Yeah.
Yeah. it's real smart. So you don't have to pay much or more for the the full service. You can just the light version of it. It's great.
Yeah. Alrighty. So soul binding, Gio. What is soul binding?
Soul bounding
for?
cards are reward cards that you can't sell, trade. So they're basically gladiator cards, but for the ranked play.
Yep. Go on, keep
In
going.
essence. And I guess what it tends to stop are huge bot farms, mining cards and selling all at once, or whenever they want, really. And I really do like that. I think it's a good move. Yeah, I just think it's a good move from a sustainability point of view.
All right.
And
so
yeah,
expand on it though. I mean, what, like soul bounding? What is it? How do you do it? Where do they come from? What's the deal?
so I'm not too sure how it's gonna play out, but I believe it'd be like in chests. I think, like as we would reward cards, but you can't put them on the market. You can't sell them. You can't trade them. And I guess it's supposed to like stop massing farming of cards. That's the only reason I could see. And yeah, there's not that much news on it yet. However, I might be missing a large point or a real big piece of the puzzle. Matt, can you please elaborate if I'm missing anything?
It's all right. Yeah, Yabba's mentioned it in the last town hall and the one that he was on before that. I think 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. He's saying that he wants to move away from reward cards that we just say, congratulations for playing.
Yeah.
Here's a valuable asset that you can sell. So he's saying we want to look at increasing the power of your account, give you a more powerful account, but not something that you can just sell, not a transferable. So he said the joy of doing it this way is instead of a silver player opening a chest and on average getting a reward card, he said a silver player will get a chest and on average they'll get 4 or 5 copies of that reward card. So we'll be able to level them much more readily because we'll be getting multiple copies in that chest. And there's the possibility of multipliers and the like where there's a diamond chest. When you open it and you get this new reward card, you got 40 copies instead of the 20 that you would have got in gold or the 10 that you would have got in silver. So the idea is they're soulbound. You can play with them, you can combine them, and that's it. So they make your collection more useful, powerful, and they let you earn rewards that you can then sell, but they themselves are not rewards that you can sell. So it's just about taking some of this. We currently reward players, and they're saying instead of here's the rewards, and they're all, apart from potions, they're all transferable. We're going to say instead of there being transferable and potions, now there's going to be transferable and reward cards and potions over here. So it's like a locking in more of the stuff to say this is only for your account, and it'll help you to win. Like if you're serious about playing, you should be delighted because these cards are going to help you to win matches, which will help you to win SPS and help you to climb the league and the league leaderboard and win more chests. But it's just means that will be a non-transferable. Same as merits that you get in chests, same as potions, same as reward card. Same as the new reward cards. So it'll just basically be just the SPS that you get in chests and the packs that are actually transferable assets that you can then cash out. So I like the idea.
What? Same.
Yeah.
I like it because there's no other company that just gives free cards for you to just trade, to dump, to sell. And I reckon, Pat, the only way you should get cards is either through packs or on the market. That's it. Like at least for the value side of things. So I'm all for it. I don't know what to say. I mean, everybody else in the card industry, in whatever industry, they do that exactly. So it's not like they're doing anything, wrong.
Yeah, it's
and
funny.
I think, and the only ones who are probably getting mad.
There's some people complaining about it. Me personally, I I mean, I'm stacking reward cards because I want to play with them, but also because I want them on land, right?
Yeah.
So this might be a little bit greedy, but if I'm getting 20 reward cards instead of 1, I'm okay with that, right? I'm not going to kick up a big fuss about this because I wasn't planning to sell them. There are some complexities in how it can work, though, and it's not necessarily all good. So gladiators are the closest that we have at the moment, where a gladiator is soulbound. You earn the merits, which are soulbound. You can't transfer them. You buy a gladius case, which again is not transferable, and you open that and you get gladiators, which themselves are non-transferable. You can combine, or you can burn for dark energy crystals, but you can't do anything else with them. This is similar to that, except that reward cards will have a limited print run or a limited print time, or possibly even both. So they'll say, we're going to churn through, there's going to be 200,000 of these, or they're going to be available for 6 months ending on this specific day, whichever comes first. Either they sell out or sell out, but they're all printed. So the problem that I have with that is if a guy arrives a week before that happens, he's going to inevitably win a handful of each of these reward cards. Now, if he's playing in gold or diamond, he's not going to want to play level 3 or 4 reward cards, but that's all he has. And he can't then buy them because they're non-transferable, and he can't earn them anymore because they're out of print now. So he's got to scroll past these cards that he can't otherwise get rid of, because the proposal as it stands is that you can start burning them for dark energy crystals, these reward cards, after they've finished their print run. After you've maxed one.
Yeah.
So after you've maxed one, but if you haven't had a chance to max one, then you're kind of stuck. So this was my sort of thought, is after they finish their print run, then you should be able to burn them for dark energy crystals if you have leftover ones, because you don't want to scroll past. I mean, I've got cards from all sorts of different editions, and some of them are only level 1 or 2.
You're trying to find a particular card for battle. The time is ticking over, and you've got all these cards to scroll through.
You've got to scroll, and there's 20 cards that you've got at a low level that you can't. Yeah, so I'm sort of thinking we need to have some mechanism to get that sort of gone. Whether that's another option is that the old is that you could do a swap, so not a sale, just a straight up swap of the same rarity cards. So if I've got an out of print one, and you've just won an in print one, right? You arrived too late, and I've been here forever, and you've got one that you want to get to max, but you can't earn them anymore. You can tap me on the shoulder and say, I'll swap you for in market ones for out of market ones, right? So you're that rare, and my rare will swap. Now I can earn more than I need and sit on them, so that down the track I can swap with people who are earning the new ones and need the old ones. So and that way, because you're swapping asset for asset, neither of you is actually selling anything. You're not pushing the prices down on anything. You're not affecting scarcity. You're just sorting it better so that my spares now become what you need, and vice versa. So that'd be another way to manage it. But yeah, soulbound cards, I think Matt's put a lot more thought into it than I have, and I think he knows more about his vision for the future of the game than I do. I got no problem with it at all. I get where he's coming from.
So what's the logic then behind burning them after 6 months or whatever? And
no, so that would be one of my 2 possible suggestions. So to get past that, the idea that you would have these cards, because at the moment, if you've got some reward cards, say if you get a Pellicor, somebody arrives now and he gets a handful of Pellicor Conjurers just before they get off the market. He can't use them. He can't combine them. If he doesn't want to buy, he can always just sell them, right? That's an option that he has. He doesn't have to scroll past them for the rest of his life whenever he wants to play. But this is where you get stuck with soulbound cards because they're not transferable. So Matt was originally saying that you wouldn't even be able to burn them for dark energy crystals until you've got a maxed one, and then anything beyond a maxed one in that account is then surplus to requirements, and you could then burn those for dark energy crystals. But anyone who hasn't actually got to that point yet wouldn't be able to burn under that regime.
I have an idea.
Stuck with this card he can't use. Yeah, go on.
Well, so Pokemon Go, they do like events for Pokemons, and if you miss out on a particular event, well, one day in the near future, or in the future, maybe 6 months, a year, they come back in rotation. So you'll always be able to eventually to fill your Pokedex. They could do that as well.
Yep.
Right? So the ones who haven't got a max card and they're like, oh, I can't even do, I can't even play at the level I wanted at. Well, that card is just in a long list of rotations for it to come back again at one point, at some point. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. And you can even market that, oh, this card's back. Come on, everyone! Like you haven't got your last copies from way back, or the newcomers who come in, they can start, right? And I'm sure there's some intricacies in between that they can make it easier where you don't have to wait a whole rotation. But hey, we're still in early days. I'm sure there's greater minds at work here. So
no, and that would work too, because if you're looking at that card that whole time and you're scrolling past it, but you know that you're not going to be stuck with it forever, that's a lot less grating. And also there will be dozens of times where you scroll past it, go, oh, if only that was just a level or two higher. I know it gets resurrect at level 7. Man, if I had that leveled up, so that's when you do get excited when it comes back around, because you're like, I can get that guy to level 7.
Yeah.
Now. All those times I wanted to pick him, but I couldn't justify it. Well,
it keeps you waiting. If you don't get to your mark, it keeps you waiting. I
like it.
You know, like
Weirdbeard in the last town hall has been looking at battle passes, which is something that a lot of those games use, where you sort of pay $10 for the next 2 months or whatever the period of time is, and then there's all sorts of different things. There's exercises that you do where you win a certain number of battles of this, and then you get a special ribbon or a special whatever, and they're limited time. It's only while that's available. So that could almost tie into that if they were going to do rotating battle passes instead of each one being its own unique one. Say, well, look, we're going to run through 10 different battle pass regimes that each take 6 months. And if you've been here for 6 years, then okay, you finally got everything, but you're maybe doing other things by then. I don't know. But that's an interesting interesting possibility. Yeah.
I think that if it is soul bound and you cannot sell it, you cannot trade it, but it's yours, it's soul bound, you should be allowed to just burn it anytime. You shouldn't have to wait for any time limit or out of print or maxing. Just if it's your card, soul bound, you should be able to burn that for deck anytime you like.
Yep, I agree.
That gives you at least some sense of ownership or value, asset value of the card.
Yeah, and people say, well, what if the market price of that card would be much higher than the deck burn value? But it's like, well, how could you even know what the market price of that card would be? Like, there's no market, so how do you even know?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, look, I'm under the presumption that the actual Splinterlands, they don't actually owe anyone free cards at all, because that's not how life works.
No,
it's just.
And Yabba mentioned that. Sorry, go on.
No, go, man.
Well, Yabba mentioned that too, where somebody asked him a question about bots. Sorry, bots just min-maxing and what's the least I can put in and the most I can pull out. And he said basically, so many games you just play for fun, and people will plow money into this game and just never get anything out of it. He said, I just want people to come here and play this game for fun, not as financial opportunists, but as gamers. And we want to attract gamers who go, this is a good fun game, but I also feel like I'm making some progress and I'm building something valuable here. And if I do want to stop playing, then I can cash it out and maybe go and play a different Web3 game with the assets that I've already accumulated from. So he's basically saying we don't want that crowd that are just DeFi degens. We want the crowd of gamers who just want a game, but also feel like they're earning something. Which, makes a lot of sense.
I think that's cool to revert back to first principles, which was a game.
Yeah. So we've got 5 minutes left on the clock. So we've probably got time for a couple of quick battles. Now, I know you two guys recently came across each other in ranked play.
Head to head.
So, I think we need a grudge match.
I sent him an invite.
We got back to basics, 13 mana. Everything but fire and life are available.
Okay. Right. Let's
we have 2 minutes on the clock.
I'll be quick. Okay, 4. 2. Yes. All right, let's do this. Yep, sent. Share. What the hell? I'm just gonna play.
You make it a little bigger.
Yes.
Only 13 mana. Back to basics. You only fielded 1 card, Matt.
I'll win.
Nearly.
You only
Almost.
fielded 1 card.
Yeah.
What was the logic behind that?
Well, I nearly won.
All right, and on that, we are out of time. Thanks for joining us on episode 50. We look forward to seeing you. There will be a 51. We'll see you then. I'm Bob
Bye.
Fair. Peace out.